feeling overwhelmed by life's chaos, where every decision feels like a battle and clarity seems out of reach. What if you could transform your mind in just 30 days, mastering your emotions and finding peace no matter what comes your way? On ZENLIGHT 8, we're diving into 9 powerful Stoic principles that aren't just ancient wisdom. They're practical tools you can apply today to live with focus and resilience. Stick with us to the end of this video to unlock a step-by-step guide to revolutionize your thinking and take control of your life. Subscribe and let's start this journey together. Imagine standing at the edge of a storm, the winds of life swirling around you, urgent emails piling up, a heated argument with a loved one, or the weight of a looming decision pressing down. Your heart races, your mind clouds, and the urge to react, to lash out or leap forward, feels almost irresistible. In these moments, it's easy to let instinct take the wheel, steering you toward words or actions you might later regret. But what if, in the space of a single breath, you could reclaim control? What if that fleeting pause could transform not just your response, but the entire trajectory of your day, your relationships, or even your life? This is the heart of Stoic wisdom, the power to pause before you act, a timeless practice rooted in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, yet strikingly relevant to the fast-paced, high-stakes world we navigate today. By creating a deliberate space between stimulus and response, you unlock the ability to choose clarity over chaos, wisdom over impulse, and purpose over reaction. Let's dive into this transformative principle, explore its depth, and uncover how it can reshape your life in the modern age, one mindful moment at a time. The Stoics understood that life is a series of stimuli, events, words, challenges that come at us relentlessly. A coworker's sharp critique during a meeting, a driver cutting you off on the freeway, or a sudden job offer that promises a bigger paycheck but demands a cross-country move. Each moment carries the potential to pull you into a reactive spiral, where emotions like anger, fear, or excitement cloud your judgment. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced the pressures of ruling an empire while grappling with personal loss and betrayal, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." His words remind us that while we cannot control the world around us, we hold absolute authority over how we respond. That authority lies in the pause, a deliberate, conscious break that allows you to step back, breathe, and choose a path aligned with your values rather than your fleeting emotions. Consider a scenario many of us face in today's hyper-connected world. You open your inbox to find an email from your boss, accusing you of dropping the ball on a project you poured hours into. Your pulse quickens, and the instinct to fire back a defensive reply surges. You might type out a heated response, pointing out every detail your boss overlooked, only to hit send and immediately regret the tone. Now imagine a different approach. Instead of reacting, you pause. You take a deep breath, counting down from 5 to 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In those 5 seconds, you give your mind a chance to recalibrate. You ask yourself, what's the bigger picture here? How can I respond in a way that builds trust rather than burns bridges? By the time you craft your reply, it's measured, professional, and focused on solutions. That pause didn't just change your email. It shifted the dynamic of your relationship with your boss, paving the way for collaboration instead of conflict. This practice, often called the 5-second rule in modern self-help circles, is a practical application of Stoic wisdom. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about giving yourself the space to process them. In smaller moments, like when a barista gets your coffee order wrong or you're stuck in a 10-minute traffic jam, the pause is a chance to train your mind. Instead of snapping at the barista or honking in frustration, you breathe and remind yourself, this is minor. It doesn't define my day. These micropauses build a habit, a mental muscle that grows stronger with each use. Over time, you'll find it easier to apply the same discipline to life's bigger challenges. A tense family dispute, a career-defining decision, or a moment of personal doubt. Let's take a deeper look at a real-world example that illustrates the power of the pause from a fresh perspective. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing manager in Chicago, who found herself at a crossroads last year. Her company offered her a promotion to a senior role in their San Francisco office, a dream opportunity with a 30% salary bump and a chance to lead a high-profile team. The catch? She'd have to relocate 2,000 miles away from her aging parents and close-knit group of friends. The offer came with a 48-hour deadline, and Sarah felt the pressure mounting. Her initial impulse was to say yes. The prestige, the money, the chance to level up were intoxicating. But something gnawed at her, a quiet voice warning that the move might cost her more than she'd gain. Instead of jumping in, Sarah applied a Stoic-inspired practice, the 24-hour rule. She gave herself a full day to sit with the decision, free from the rush of excitement or fear. During those 24 hours, she took a long walk along Lake Michigan, journaled her thoughts, and called her older brother for perspective. She asked herself, what matters most to me right now? Is it career growth, or is it staying connected to the people I love? By pausing, she gave her rational mind a chance to catch up with her emotions. She realized that while the job was tempting, her parents' health was declining, and being present for them was a non-negotiable value. She declined the offer and, instead, negotiated a raise and more responsibility in her current role. A year later, Sarah reflects on that pause as a turning point, not just in her career, but in her understanding of what a meaningful life looks like. Sarah's story highlights a critical truth. The pause is not just a delay. It's a gateway to critical thinking and self-awareness. In the philosophy of living well, this practice aligns with the Stoic emphasis on eudaimonia, a flourishing life rooted in virtue and purpose. By pausing, you create a space for reflection, allowing you to align your actions with your deeper goals. This is where critical thinking comes into play. In a world bombarded with notifications, deadlines, and social pressures, the ability to step back and question your impulses is a superpower. Are you reacting out of fear, ego, or are you choosing a response that reflects who you want to be? The pause gives you the clarity to answer these questions honestly. To bring this into the present, let's consider how the pause can be a lifeline in our digital age. Americans spend an average of 7 hours a day on screens, often reacting instantly to social media posts, news alerts, or group chats. Picture yourself scrolling through X, where a heated debate about politics catches your eye. Someone posts a comment that feels like a personal attack on your beliefs. Your fingers hover over the keyboard, ready to fire off a retort. But what if you paused? What if, instead of adding fuel to the online fire, you took 10 seconds to ask, is this worth my energy? Will my response change anything? More often than not, you'll find that walking away preserves your peace of mind far more than winning an argument ever could. This isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing battles that align with your values. The beauty of the pause lies in its simplicity. You don't need a philosophy degree or a meditation retreat to start. Begin with small moments. When your toddler spills juice on the carpet, when a coworker interrupts you in a meeting, or when you're tempted to impulse buy a $200 gadget online. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what's my goal here? Over the next 30 days, challenge yourself to practice this daily. Keep a pocket notebook or use your phone to jot down one moment each day where you paused and how it changed your response. Maybe you avoided a pointless argument with your spouse, or maybe you made a smarter financial decision by sleeping on a purchase. These small wins compound, building a life of intention and resilience. From a broader perspective, the pause is a rebellion against a culture that glorifies speed and reaction. In the US, where hustle culture often equates busyness with success, taking a moment to think can feel counterintuitive. Yet, some of the most successful leaders, think of CEOs like Satya Nadella or Oprah Winfrey, credit their ability to pause and reflect for their clarity under pressure. Nadella, for instance, has spoken about practicing mindfulness to navigate Microsoft's high-stakes decisions, a modern echo of Stoic principles. By pausing, you're not just managing your emotions. You're reclaiming your autonomy in a world that demands instant answers. As you embrace this practice, you'll notice a shift. The chaos of life won't disappear, but your ability to navigate it with grace will grow. You'll find yourself responding to challenges with a quiet confidence, knowing that each pause is a step toward a wiser, more centered you. This is the Stoic art of living, not reacting to the world, but shaping it through deliberate, thoughtful choices. The next lesson builds on this foundation, guiding us toward mastering our emotions to unlock even greater clarity and strength. The storm of life doesn't always come in the form of external chaos. Sometimes it rages within. A sharp word from a colleague stings, a looming deadline sparks anxiety, or a fleeting moment of self-doubt clouds your vision. In these moments, your emotions can feel like wild horses, pulling you in every direction but forward. Yet, what if you could tame those horses, not by suppressing them, but by guiding them with wisdom? What if you could harness your rational mind to navigate life's challenges with unshakable clarity? Stoicism, the ancient philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, offers a roadmap for exactly this. Mastering your emotions and thinking logically to live a life of purpose and peace. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, where reactions are instant and decisions are often made under pressure, these principles are not just relevant, they're revolutionary. Let's dive into the art of emotional mastery and logical thinking, exploring how these Stoic tools can transform your daily life, one mindful choice at a time, while weaving them into a modern American context that resonates with the challenges and aspirations of today. The journey to emotional mastery begins with a simple yet profound act: naming your emotions. Picture yourself in a crowded coffee shop in downtown Seattle, juggling a laptop and a latte, when you get a text from your best friend canceling plans for the third time this month. A wave of frustration surges, tempting you to fire off a sarcastic reply. But instead, you pause, a skill we explored in the art of pausing, and silently say to yourself, "I'm feeling angry." This small act of naming your emotion is like flipping on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, the chaos within becomes visible, manageable. You're not the anger. It's just a passing state, like a cloud drifting across a vast sky. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to wisdom, once said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." By naming your emotion, you shift your perspective, creating a space where reason can step in and guide you. This practice isn't about denying your feelings or pretending to be calm when you're not. It's about acknowledging your emotions without letting them hijack your actions. In the US, where emotional expression is often celebrated, think of the passion in a New York City debate or the raw energy of a Los Angeles protest. There's a cultural tendency to let feelings lead. Yet, unchecked emotions can lead to regret. Consider a moment from my own life. During a heated team meeting, a colleague dismissed my idea in front of the group, and I felt a flush of embarrassment and anger. My instinct was to snap back to defend my ego, but I paused, took a deep breath, and said to myself, "This is frustration." That pause allowed me to respond with a calm question instead of a retort, turning the conversation productive rather than confrontational. Over time, this habit of naming emotions, anger, anxiety, even joy, has become a cornerstone of my resilience, a way to stay grounded no matter the storm. To deepen this practice, let's explore how it fits into modern life. Imagine you're a 28-year-old teacher in Austin, Texas, facing a classroom of restless students while grappling with a performance review that criticized your methods. The pressure builds, and anxiety creeps in, whispering that you're not good enough. Instead of spiraling, you take a moment to name the feeling, "I'm anxious." Then you breathe deeply, feeling the air fill your lungs, and exhale slowly. This Stoic pause, as simple as it sounds, is a bridge to rationality. You ask yourself, what is this anxiety telling me? Is it pointing to something I can improve? Suddenly, the criticism becomes a map for growth rather than a verdict on your worth. You might decide to tweak your lesson plans or seek feedback from a mentor, turning a moment of doubt into a step toward mastery. This is the power of emotional mastery. It transforms feelings from obstacles into allies. But naming emotions is just the beginning. To truly master them, you need to guide them with intention. Let's say you're stuck in a traffic jam on I-95 in Miami, the heat rising both outside and within as horns blare. Your first instinct might be to slam your hand on the steering wheel, letting frustration take over. But pause again, breathe, ask, will this anger get me to my destination faster? Or is it just clouding my mind? As you reflect, the tension eases, and you might even chuckle at the absurdity of stressing over something beyond your control. This isn't about ignoring your emotions, it's about choosing how they shape your actions. In a culture that often equates emotional intensity with authenticity, the Stoic approach offers a counterpoint. True authenticity lies in aligning your responses with your values, not your impulses. Now, let's shift gears to the second pillar of this Stoic journey: thinking logically. Once you've created a space to master your emotions, you need to fill that space with reason. A sturdy bridge over the rushing river of feelings. Logical thinking is the Stoic tool that helps you analyze, evaluate, and make decisions that stand the test of time. In a world where Americans make an average of 35,000 decisions a day, from what to eat for breakfast to whether to switch careers, the ability to think clearly is a game changer. The Stoics didn't see reason as cold or detached. They saw it as a guide that works hand in hand with emotion, ensuring your choices reflect your deepest goals. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools for logical thinking is the pros and cons list. Imagine you're a 35-year-old software engineer in Denver, Colorado, weighing whether to leave your stable job for a startup offering equity but less security. The excitement of a new challenge pulls you, but fear of failure holds you back. Sitting down with a notebook, you list the advantages: potential for growth, a chance to innovate, and a higher long-term payout. Then the disadvantages: financial risk, longer hours, and leaving a team you respect. As you write, the haze of emotion clears, and you start to see the decision for what it is. Not a leap of faith, but a calculated choice. You might ask, does this align with my goal of building a legacy, or am I chasing a shiny object? This exercise, rooted in Stoic rationality, grounds you in reality, free from the distortions of fear or hype. But sometimes logic needs to confront fear head-on, especially when the stakes are high. This is where the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, imagining the worst-case scenario, comes into play. Let's say you're launching a small business, a bakery in Charlotte, North Carolina, pouring your savings into a dream. The fear of failure looms large. What if the business tanks? Instead of pushing that fear aside, you lean into it. You visualize the worst. You lose your $50,000 investment, face criticism from friends, and have to start over. But as you sit with this scenario, you realize it's not the end. You'd still have your skills, your passion, and the chance to rebuild wiser. Seneca, the Stoic statesman, wrote, "He who is brave is free. By facing the worst, you strip fear of its power, freeing yourself to act with courage." This practice isn't about pessimism. It's about preparation. In modern America, where entrepreneurship is celebrated but failure is stigmatized, premeditatio malorum is a lifeline. Take the example of Michael, a 40-year-old entrepreneur I met at a conference in Boston. He was hesitant to pitch his tech startup to investors, paralyzed by the thought of rejection. Following Stoic advice, he spent an evening imagining the worst. Investors saying no, his idea being dismissed, even losing his initial funding. But he also pictured the most likely outcome. Some rejections, but also interest from a few backers. By mentally rehearsing these scenarios, he walked into the pitch with calm confidence, landing a $100,000 investment. The exercise didn't eliminate risk, it gave him the clarity to face it. Logical thinking also shines in everyday conflicts. Picture a tense moment at a family barbecue in Atlanta, where your uncle's political rant pushes every button. Your emotions scream to argue back, to prove your point. But pause. Apply reason. Ask, is this argument worth the rift it might cause? Can I change his mind in this setting? A pros and cons list in your head might reveal that engaging will only escalate tension, while staying silent preserves harmony. You choose to smile, nod, and change the subject, not out of weakness, but from a rational choice to prioritize family over ego. This is Stoicism in action, using logic to steer your life toward what truly matters. To bring these principles into your daily routine, start small. Over the next 30 days, commit to naming at least one emotion each day. Write it in a journal or note it on your phone. When you feel overwhelmed, practice the Stoic pause. Breathe deeply for 10 seconds, then ask, what can I learn from this feeling? For decisions, big or small, make a quick pros and cons list, even mentally. Before a tough conversation, try premeditatio malorum. Picture the worst outcome, then the most likely, and feel your anxiety ease. These practices don't require hours, they take moments, but their impact compounds. In a country where 1 in 5 adults reports chronic stress, mastering your emotions and thinking logically isn't just philosophy, it's survival. These Stoic tools, emotional mastery and logical thinking, are more than techniques. They're a rebellion against a world that thrives on reaction and distraction. In the US, where social media fuels instant outrage and 24/7 news cycles amplify fear, the ability to pause, name your emotions, and reason through decisions is a radical act of self-ownership. Think of leaders like Michelle Obama, who's spoken about staying grounded amid public scrutiny by focusing on what she can control, her response, her values. That's Stoicism in modern form, a blueprint for thriving in chaos. As you practice these skills, you'll find your inner world shifting. The colleague's critique no longer derails you. It's a chance to grow. The uncertainty of a career move becomes a puzzle to solve, not a threat. You'll move through life with a quiet strength, knowing you're not at the mercy of your emotions or circumstances. This is the Stoic promise. A life where clarity and resilience are your default, no matter what comes your way. The next lessons will build on this foundation, guiding us towards spotting and steering clear of biases and viewing life from a higher perspective, to further refine our path to wisdom and peace. Life is a kaleidoscope of perspectives, each twist and turn revealing a new angle on the truth. Yet, too often, we cling to a single view, blinded by biases that distort our understanding and trap us in cycles of misunderstanding or regret. In the hustle of modern America, where opinions clash on platforms like X, news cycles spin relentlessly, and personal decisions carry high stakes, finding clarity requires more than good intentions. It demands vigilance and wisdom. Stoicism, the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, offers 2 powerful tools to navigate this complexity: spotting and steering clear of biases to uncover truth, and adopting a higher perspective to find peace and empathy amidst life's storms. These practices aren't just ancient ideals. They're practical strategies for thriving in today's fast-paced, polarized world. Let's explore how these Stoic principles can transform the way you think, decide, and connect, weaving them into the fabric of modern American life with vivid examples, emotional resonance, and actionable steps to make them your own. The first step on this journey is recognizing the invisible traps of bias that lurk in our minds. Biases are like tinted lenses we wear without realizing, coloring how we see the world. Confirmation bias nudges us to seek only information that supports our beliefs, while the sunk cost fallacy keeps us tethered to failing ventures because we've already invested so much. In a country where 74% of Americans admit to getting news from social media, these biases are amplified as algorithms feed us tailored content that reinforces our views. Imagine you're a small business owner in Nashville, Tennessee, convinced that expanding your coffee shop to a second location is the key to success. You pore over glowing market reports, envisioning packed tables and soaring profits, but dismiss warnings about rising rent costs or oversaturated markets. When the new location struggles, you're left wondering how you missed the signs. The culprit? Bias, your mind's tendency to favor what feels comfortable over what's true. Marcus Aurelius, who governed an empire rife with political intrigue, understood this danger. He wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I will gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." His humility is a beacon for us today. To break free from bias, you must actively seek opposing perspectives, even when they sting. This isn't easy in a culture that often rewards certainty over curiosity. Picture a heated dinner table debate in Chicago, where your cousin argues passionately about a policy you oppose. Your instinct is to double down, defending your stance to protect your ego. But what if you paused, the Stoic pause we've practiced, and asked, "Can you explain why you feel so strongly?" By listening, you might uncover a nuance you hadn't considered, not because you agree, but because truth lies in the tension between perspectives. In practice, this means stepping outside your echo chamber. If you lean left, read a well-reasoned conservative op-ed. If you're a skeptic of new technology, Talk to someone who's all in on AI. Let's say you're a 30-year-old graphic designer in Portland, Oregon, deciding whether to take a freelance gig with a controversial client. Your gut says no, based on their public image, but bias might be clouding your judgment. You reach out to a trusted colleague who's worked with them, asking for their take. Their positive experience challenges your assumptions, prompting you to research the client's recent projects. The result? A clearer decision. Maybe you take the gig, maybe you don't, but it's grounded in reason, not prejudice. This habit of seeking dissent isn't about abandoning your values. It's about testing them against reality to ensure they hold up. To make this concrete, consider a real-world example. Emily, a 42-year-old nurse in Phoenix, Arizona, was skeptical about a new hospital protocol for patient care. Her initial reaction was to dismiss it, believing the old system worked fine. But, inspired by Stoic principles, she decided to challenge her bias. She sat down with a colleague who supported the change and read a study on its outcomes. To her surprise, the data showed improved patient recovery rates, and her colleague's perspective highlighted practical benefits she'd overlooked. Emily didn't just change her mind. She grew, realizing that her resistance stemmed from comfort with the familiar, not evidence. By confronting her bias, she not only improved her work, but also felt a profound sense of clarity, as if a fog had lifted from her mind. Over the next 30 days, you can cultivate this vigilance. Start each morning with a simple question. What assumption am I holding today that I haven't questioned? Before making a decision, whether it's choosing a new phone plan or voting in a local election, seek out one opposing viewpoint. Could be a friend's opinion, an article on X, or a podcast that challenges your leanings. Jot down what you learn in a notebook, even if it's just a sentence. This practice, rooted in Stoic humility, will sharpen your critical thinking and bring a quiet confidence. In a nation where 60% of people report feeling overwhelmed by conflicting information, spotting biases is a superpower that sets you apart, guiding you toward decisions that are not just quick, but true. Now, let's elevate our perspective with the second Stoic tool, the view from above. Life's challenges often feel all-consuming up close. A missed deadline, a snarky comment, or a financial setback can loom like mountains. But what if you could step back, climb to a higher vantage point, and see these moments for what they are? Tiny ripples in the vast ocean of existence. Marcus Aurelius practiced this technique, imagining himself gazing down from the heavens, where cities shrank to specks and human struggles faded into the grand tapestry of time. He wrote, "How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. This perspective doesn't diminish your problems. It liberates you from their grip, revealing what truly matters." In today's world, where stress affects 80% of Americans, the view from above is a lifeline. Imagine you're a single parent in Houston, Texas, reeling from a scathing email from your child's teacher about their behavior. Your first instinct is anger, a need to defend your parenting. But pause. Picture yourself high above, looking down at this moment. From this distance, the email is just a fleeting event, not a verdict on your worth. You ask, will this matter in a month? A year? The answer is likely no. With this clarity, you respond calmly, scheduling a meeting to address the issue constructively. The stress doesn't vanish, but its power over you does, replaced by a sense of control and purpose. This technique also fosters empathy by inviting you to step into someone else's shoes. Epictetus, who endured hardship as a former slave, advised, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In a diverse nation like the US, where cultural and ideological divides run deep, this practice is transformative. Consider a workplace scenario in San Francisco, where you clash with a coworker over a project's direction. You're frustrated, convinced they're being stubborn. But what if you imagine their perspective? Maybe they're under pressure from a looming deadline or grappling with personal challenges. By swapping roles, you approach the next meeting with curiosity, asking questions instead of accusations. The result? A compromise that strengthens the project and your relationship. Let's bring this to life with a story. James, a 35-year-old firefighter in Minneapolis, faced a devastating setback when his application for a promotion was rejected. The rejection hit hard, fueling resentment toward his chief. But James, who'd been exploring Stoicism, tried the view from above. He visualized his life from a distance, seeing the rejection as a single moment in a long career of service. He also considered his chief's perspective, realizing the decision was based on budget constraints, not personal judgment. This shift didn't erase his disappointment, but it freed him to focus on what he could control, improving his skills for the next opportunity. A year later, he earned the promotion, crediting his growth to that moment of perspective. To integrate these practices, commit to a 30-day challenge. Each evening, spend 5 minutes reflecting, what bias did I notice today, and how did I challenge it? Maybe you caught yourself dismissing a coworker's idea or scrolling past a post that didn't align with your views. Then, practice the view from above. When stress hits, say, a $200 car repair bill, imagine zooming out, seeing the expense as a minor blip. Ask, will this matter in 5 years? To build empathy, pick one interaction daily and consider the other person's perspective, even briefly. These small acts, done consistently, rewire your mind for clarity and connection. In a country where division often overshadows dialogue, these Stoic tools, spotting biases and seeing from above, are acts of courage. They echo the wisdom of leaders like Abraham Lincoln, who sought diverse counsel to navigate a fractured nation, or modern figures like Brené Brown, who champions vulnerability and empathy as paths to understanding. By embracing these practices, you'll not only make wiser decisions, but also build bridges in a world that desperately needs them. The next lessons will deepen this journey, teaching us to live by our core values and seek wisdom from trusted voices, guiding us toward a life of purpose and resilience. In the whirlwind of modern life, where choices bombard us from every angle, career moves, relationships, even the endless scroll of social media, it's easy to lose your way. The pressure to keep up, to achieve, to be seen as successful, can pull you away from the quiet voice within that knows what truly matters. Yet, imagine a life where every decision, no matter how small, aligns with your deepest beliefs, where you move through the world with a sense of purpose and pride. Stoicism, the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, offers a powerful guide to achieve this, living by your core values and seeking wisdom from trusted voices. These principles are not relics of ancient Rome but living tools for navigating the complexities of 21st century America, where hustle culture, polarized debates, and constant connectivity demand clarity and resilience. Let's dive into how these Stoic practices can anchor you in a life of meaning and wisdom, weaving them into the vibrant, diverse tapestry of modern American life with stories, emotional depth, and practical steps to make them yours. Living by your core values is like navigating with a compass in a storm. It doesn't stop the rain, but it ensures you're headed toward a destination that matters. In a nation where 60% of Americans report feeling unfulfilled despite material success, this Stoic principle is a lifeline. Core values, whether integrity, family, courage, or creativity, are the non-negotiables that define who you are and who you aspire to be. Marcus Aurelius, who faced the temptations of absolute power, wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." His words are a call to hold every choice up to the mirror of your values, asking, will I respect myself after this? This question cuts through the noise, offering clarity in moments of doubt. Picture yourself as a 29-year-old accountant in Boston, Massachusetts, offered a lucrative role at a prestigious firm. The salary, $120,000 a year, is tempting, and the title would impress your peers. But the job requires working 80-hour weeks and cutting corners on ethical standards, like fudging numbers to please clients. Your heart sounds an alarm, a quiet unease that grows louder. In that moment, you pause, the Stoic pause we've practiced, and reflect, my core value is integrity. If I take this job, will I still respect myself? The answer is no. You decline the offer, choosing instead to stay in a less glamorous role that aligns with your principles. Months later, you land a position at a nonprofit, earning less but feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. That choice, rooted in your values, didn't just shape your career. It shaped your life, proving that true success is measured not by dollars but by the pride you feel when you look in the mirror. This practice resonates deeply in America, where the pursuit of the American dream often clashes with personal values. Consider the story of Maria, a 45-year-old single mother in San Antonio, Texas, who faced a gut-wrenching decision. Her daughter's school offered a scholarship to an elite program, but it required Maria to relocate, leaving her elderly mother, who relied on her daily support. The pressure to give her daughter every opportunity was immense, fueled by a culture that equates sacrifice with love. But Maria's core value was family, not just her daughter, but her mother too. She asked herself, will this move honor the bonds I hold sacred? After reflection, she chose to stay, finding local opportunities for her daughter's growth. The decision was painful, but it brought peace, a testament to Seneca's wisdom. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. By living her values, Maria found richness in connection, not competition. To make this real in your life, start by identifying your core values. Take a quiet evening, maybe over coffee in a cozy Denver cafe or during a walk through a Miami park, and write down what matters most. Is it honesty, community, growth? Distill it to 3 or 4 words that feel like home. Then, over the next 30 days, integrate them into your decisions. Each morning, ask, what's my guiding value today? At night, reflect, did I live true to it? If you value kindness, pause before snapping at a rude cashier and choose a gentle word instead. If it's courage, take a small risk like pitching an idea at work. These moments, though small, build a life of integrity. In a country where 1 in 3 adults feels pressured to conform to societal expectations, aligning with your values is a quiet rebellion, a declaration that your life is yours to define. But living by values isn't a solitary journey. Even the strongest compass benefits from a map, and that's where the second Stoic principle comes in, seeking wisdom from trusted voices. No one navigates life's complexities alone, not even Marcus Aurelius, who, despite ruling an empire, sought counsel from friends and mentors. He wrote, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth by which no one was ever truly harmed. His humility reminds us that wisdom is a shared treasure, forged in the diverse experiences of those we trust. In America, a melting pot of cultures and perspectives, this practice is both a necessity and an opportunity, offering fresh lenses to see the world. Imagine you're a 33-year-old entrepreneur in Seattle, Washington, torn between staying at a stable tech job and launching your own app. The risk excites you, but fear of failure, losing your $90,000 salary, facing debt, clouds your judgment. Alone, you might waver, swayed by emotion or societal pressure to play it safe. But you turn to a trusted mentor, a former colleague who's navigated the startup world. Over coffee, they share their story of failure and recovery, pointing out risks you hadn't considered like market saturation, but also possibilities like niche demand. Their perspective doesn't make the decision for you, but it illuminates the path, helping you weigh your core value of innovation against practical realities. You decide to start small, keeping your job while testing the app part-time, a balanced choice born of wisdom. This practice shines in everyday scenarios too. Take Jamal, a 25-year-old college student in Atlanta, Georgia, struggling to choose a major. Torn between engineering, safe, lucrative, and music, his passion. He feels the weight of expectation, his parents' hopes, society's emphasis on STEM. Instead of deciding alone, he talks to his music professor, a cousin who's an engineer, and a friend who switched majors. Their stories of regret, fulfillment, and unexpected paths help him see that his value of creativity doesn't mean abandoning stability. He chooses a double major, blending both worlds. By opening his heart to others' wisdom, Jamal didn't just pick a major. He grew, learning that vulnerability is strength. In a culture where 68% of Americans say they rarely seek advice due to fear of judgment, seeking trusted voices is a bold act. It's not about outsourcing your decisions, but enriching them with diverse insights. Over the next 30 days, identify 3 people you trust: a friend, a mentor, a family member, and reach out when faced with a choice, big or small. Ask, "What would you do in my shoes?" And listen without defensiveness. Maybe it's a coworker's take on a project or a sibling's advice on a family conflict. Write down one insight from each conversation, noting how it shifts your perspective. This habit, rooted in Stoic humility, builds not just better decisions but deeper connections. These principles, living by values and seeking wisdom, are a powerful duo in today's America, where external validation often drowns out inner truth. They echo the resilience of figures like Maya Angelou, who leaned on her values of dignity and sought mentors to rise above adversity, or modern leaders like Satya Nadella, who credits diverse counsel for Microsoft's turnaround. By anchoring in your values and opening to others' wisdom, you craft a life that's not just successful but significant. You'll face choices with confidence, knowing they reflect who you are, and draw strength from a community that lifts you higher. The next lessons will guide us to learn from yesterday's lessons and find comfort in the unknown, completing our Stoic toolkit for a life of clarity and courage. Life is a tapestry woven with moments of triumph, missteps, and the ever-present shadow of uncertainty. In the rush of modern America, where deadlines loom, notifications ping, and the future feels like a puzzle with missing pieces, it's tempting to race forward without looking back or to freeze in fear of what lies ahead. Yet, what if the past could be your greatest teacher and the unknown your greatest ally? Stoicism, the timeless philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, offers two final pillars to complete our journey: learning from yesterday's lessons to grow wiser and finding peace in uncertainty to live fully. These principles are not distant ideals but practical tools for thriving in today's fast-paced, unpredictable world, where 70% of Americans report feeling stressed about the future. Let's explore how these Stoic practices can transform your perspective, grounding you in wisdom and serenity, with vivid stories, emotional resonance, and actionable steps tailored to the vibrant, diverse pulse of modern American life. The first step is to treat your past not as a burden but as a wellspring of wisdom. Every day, you make choices. Some lead to pride, others to regret, but each carries a lesson waiting to be uncovered. Marcus Aurelius, who reflected nightly on his actions despite the weight of an empire, wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good." His practice of introspection is a call to pause, breathe, and ask, what did I do well today? What could I have done better? What did I learn? In a country where 1 in 4 adults admits to dwelling on past mistakes, this Stoic habit offers a way to break free from regret and build a foundation for growth. It's not about rewriting history, but about mining it for insights that shape a better tomorrow. Imagine you're a 34-year-old teacher in Minneapolis, Minnesota, wrapping up a long day. You led a successful class discussion, but in a moment of frustration, you snapped at a student who was off task. The guilt lingers as you drive home through the snowy streets. Instead of brushing it off or berating yourself, you take a Stoic approach. That evening, you sit with a notebook and reflect. What went well? The discussion engaged even my quietest students. What could I improve? I let stress get the better of me with that student. What's the lesson? My patience needs work, especially on tough days. This simple act, writing a few honest sentences, turns a moment of regret into a stepping stone. The next day, you apologize to the student and try a new strategy like a quick breathing exercise before class. Over weeks, you notice your classroom dynamic shift, your patience growing stronger. That's the power of learning from yesterday. It transforms mistakes into milestones. This practice resonates in America's culture of reinvention, where second chances are celebrated but reflection is often overlooked. Consider the story of David, a 41-year-old chef in New Orleans, Louisiana, who faced a crushing setback when his restaurant closed during a tough economic year. The failure stung, leaving him questioning his talent. But, inspired by Stoic wisdom, David began journaling each night, asking what he'd learned from the experience. He noted successes like the loyal customers who loved his gumbo, but also mistakes like overextending his budget. One lesson stood out. He'd ignored early warning signs of financial strain, driven by pride. Instead of dwelling on the loss, He used these insights to start anew, opening a food truck with a leaner model. Today, his truck is a local hit, and David credits his nightly reflections for turning failure into a fresh start. His story echoes Epictetus' teaching, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. By reflecting, you don't just learn, you become." To bring this into your life, commit to a 30-day reflection ritual. Each evening, spend 5 minutes with a journal or your phone's notes app. Write 3 things: 1 success, 1 area for improvement, and 1 lesson. Maybe you nailed a work presentation but procrastinated on a personal goal, learning that discipline needs focus. Or perhaps you helped a neighbor but got impatient in traffic, realizing kindness takes practice. Keep it brief but honest. Over time, these notes will reveal patterns, strengths to lean into, habits to refine. In a nation where 80% of people say they want to grow but lack a plan, this habit is a roadmap, turning fleeting moments into lasting wisdom. It's like tending a garden. Daily care yields a harvest of clarity and resilience. Now, let's turn to the final Stoic lesson: finding peace in the unknown. Uncertainty is the heartbeat of life. New jobs, relationships, or global shifts like economic changes keep us guessing. In America, where 65% of adults worry about the future, from career stability to climate impacts, uncertainty can feel like a thief, stealing your calm. Yet, Stoicism teaches us to embrace it as a natural part of existence, not a foe to fight. By preparing your mind for all possibilities, you discover a serenity that no external chaos can shake. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." His words invite us to lean into the unknown with courage and grace. Consider a common scenario. You're a 27-year-old marketing assistant in Denver, Colorado, preparing for a high-stakes job interview. Your mind swirls with what-ifs. What if I bomb the questions? What if they don't like me? The fear builds, turning uncertainty into a paralyzing weight. But pause. Try a Stoic tool called the best, worst, most likely analysis. Picture the best case. You ace the interview, land the job, and thrive. Now the worst. You stumble, don't get hired, and feel embarrassed. Finally, the most likely. You perform well but face tough questions with a 50-50 shot at the role. By mapping these outcomes, you rob uncertainty of its power. You prepare thoroughly, practicing answers, researching the company, but release the need to control the result. When the interview comes, you're calm, focused, and adaptable whether you get the job or not. This isn't denial. It's empowerment, a way to face the future without fear. This technique shines in bigger moments too. Take Sarah, a 38-year-old nurse in Raleigh, North Carolina, who faced a life-altering choice: relocate for a better-paying job or stay near her aging parents. The uncertainty, job security versus family ties, kept her awake at night. Inspired by Stoic practices, she applied the analysis. Best case: the new job boosts her career and finances. Worst case: she moves, feels isolated, and regrets leaving her parents. Most likely: the job is good but comes with trade-offs like less time with family. Sitting with these possibilities, she realized her core value, family, outweighed the financial gain. She stayed, finding a local role that balanced her goals. The process didn't eliminate uncertainty. It gave her the clarity to embrace it, trusting her choice no matter the outcome. In modern America, where change is constant, think of the 10% job turnover rate annually or the unpredictability of events like hurricanes in Florida. This Stoic approach is a game changer. It's not about predicting the future, but preparing your mind to meet it. Over the next 30 days, practice this when uncertainty strikes. Facing a tough decision, like switching careers or moving to a new city, map out the best, worst, and most likely scenarios in a notebook. Ask, what can I control? What can I learn? If it's a smaller moment, like worrying about a friend's reaction to tough news, do the same mentally. This habit, paired with daily reflection, builds a mindset that doesn't just survive uncertainty, it thrives in it. These final Stoic tools, learning from the past and embracing the unknown, complete our journey, weaving together the principles we've explored. Pausing, mastering emotions, thinking logically, spotting biases, seeing from above, living by values, and seeking wisdom. They echo the resilience of American icons like Frederick Douglass, who reflected on hardship to fuel his fight for freedom, or modern leaders like Serena Williams, who embraces uncertainty on the court with unwavering focus. Together, they form a blueprint for a life of clarity, courage, and connection. As you carry these practices forward, you'll find the chaos of life less daunting. A missed opportunity becomes a lesson, an uncertain future a canvas for growth. You'll move through the world with a quiet strength, rooted in wisdom and open to whatever comes. This is the Stoic promise. Not a life without challenges, but a life where you meet them with grace and purpose. Over the next 30 days, let these tools guide you and watch as your world transforms, one mindful moment at a time. You've just walked a transformative path through 9 Stoic principles, each a powerful tool to carve clarity, resilience, and purpose from the chaos of modern life. From pausing before reacting to embracing the unknown, these lessons, rooted in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, are not just ideas but a blueprint for living fully in today's fast-paced world. They teach us to master our emotions, think logically, challenge biases, see from above, live by our values, seek trusted wisdom, learn from the past, and find peace in uncertainty. Together, they form a compass for navigating the storms of 21st century America, where stress, division, and constant change test us daily. In a nation where 80% of adults report feeling overwhelmed, these Stoic practices are more than philosophy. They're a lifeline. Imagine starting each day with a pause, aligning your choices with your core values, and facing uncertainty with a calm heart. Picture the confidence that comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws your way, from a tense work meeting to a personal crossroads. This is the Stoic promise. A life where challenges don't break you but shape you into a wiser, stronger version of yourself. To bring this into your life today, start small but commit fully. Over the next 30 days, pick one principle each week. Perhaps begin with the pause or nightly reflection, and practice it daily. Keep a journal to track your progress, noting how a single breath before reacting or a moment of empathy shifts your perspective. In a culture that glorifies hustle and instant reactions, these small acts are revolutionary, reclaiming your time, mind, and purpose. Whether you're a teacher in Chicago, a parent in Miami, or an entrepreneur in Seattle, these tools are universal, adaptable to your unique journey. They remind us that true success isn't measured by likes, dollars, or titles, but by the peace and pride you feel living authentically. Now it's time to take action. If this journey has inspired you, head over to ZENLIGHT 8 on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Join a community dedicated to growth and wisdom. Share this video with someone you care about, someone who could use a dose of Stoic clarity in their life. And don't stop there. Drop a comment below with the number 7 to let us know you're ready to live these 7 transformative lessons. Pausing, mastering emotions, thinking logically, spotting biases, seeing from above, living by values, and seeking wisdom. Tell us which principle resonates most or how you'll apply it this week. Your comment isn't just a note. It's a commitment to yourself and a spark for others. The path to a meaningful life starts here, and we're honored to walk it with you. Let's make the next 30 days count.